so you decided to pick a fight. Well, what better place to come than Bristol, Tennessee, the last great Coliseum, where a bare-knuckle brawl will occur for 180 laps tonight for the Area Truck Series. And not only is it race number 13 of the season, it's the first race of 5 in the 5-round playoff structure. This is round 1 of 2 in the first of the 3 rounds of these playoffs, where each 2 weeks will eliminate 4 drivers in pursuit of a champion. You'll have to survive all 180 laps, keep it out of the fence, keep it out of each other to make sure that you make it to the end and score points en route to your title victory. Kyle Heyer joined by Connor Horn tonight. Connor, welcome aboard. We know how rough and tumble this place can be. It is the last great Coliseum. It is the world's fastest half mile, but it is frustrating. It's migraine-inducing to make it around here without running into somebody or something along the way.
Yeah, if you have a bad night here, you'll have a headache. I had a headache after last night. 15th isn't that bad, but when you have all 11 other playoff drivers finishing in front of you, it puts you through the ringer. So we're going to have a lot of drivers in the same scenario tonight. They might be thinking they're running well, but you have all these playoff drivers ahead of you. It's going to cost you points. There's probably no better place as far as drama goes to start a playoff run. The high banks at Bristol. We saw it get crazy yesterday, but a controlled sort of crazy where we didn't really have a lot of yellow flags in the middle of the race, had a long green flag run. So we might see the same thing tonight because these trucks are kind of the same pace as the Cup cars are, at least speed-wise. As we'll take a look of our standings starting out tonight. Jake Matheson, Travis Beckner, big gaps going into tonight. Matheson plus 44. He could finish 15th and probably be locked into next week. But after David Weishart on down, really, all bets are off. Weishart, Hall, Balliet, Theory, and Mason Kane, and Justin Sogak all start above the cut line, but just barely. And then you have Michael Curran. He's in a good spot in the Cup playoffs, but below the cut line starting tonight. And then former champion Brad Slaughter, Jacob Bell, JT Poole. Poole, I don't believe, will be here tonight, so he's going to be in a hole next week trying to win at Kansas in the Truck Series. But you got 11 of our drivers here tonight, and every one of them could probably win here tonight. A little bit of an equalizer sort of track at Bristol. It takes talent, and that's kind of why it's such an equalizing track, because anyone can win here.
Yeah, and it's going to be just singular points that determine whether or not you're moving on or you're staying back below the cutoff line. You would say that it's also a brawl for some bonus points tonight, Connor. Keeping it clean gets you that bonus point. Almost nobody got that last night in the Cup Series race. Despite the race going green, we actually had a couple green flag pit stops. So will we see more of the same tonight, or will we see the trucks get rough and tumble like they always do?
I think we're going to see it get a little bit rough. It's going to go into night. We got another cool track like it was last night. The cool track kind of made it go green, but also made it really, really hard to pass because we didn't see a lot of off-throttle time in the corners until we got that long green flag run, which ended abruptly. So if we don't get that long run, I feel like we're going to be in for some trouble here tonight as we'll go down to live for qualifying. 4.5 minutes to go. Jake Matheson, no surprise, he's on track for the first bonus point of the night for getting the pole. Looking good so far, but if we don't get that long run, we could see a lot of yellows as James Shainwolf getting his run down right now. As you can see, the drivers in yellow start above the cut line tonight. Jacob Bell, Slaughter, all those other guys in red will start below the cut line.
Yeah, we'll see maybe someone in green next week. That's locked in with no care in the world. Yellow is above the cut line, red is below it. Shainwolf goes 15th. I wanted to point out the rubbered in line from practice there, Connor. Look at how it moves towards that inside wall. That concerns me, not so much out of turn 2, but out of turn 4 and leading into turn 1. That has been a slippery spot so far in this session, despite the track cooling off and the grip levels coming up. We could see drivers end up in the fence. We saw a lot of self-spins last night in the Cup Series, maybe some more in the trucks tonight.
We'll have to wait and see. Turn 3 and 4 kind of weird because it's not even like 1 and 2. 1 and 2, it's easy to run the bottom. But 3 and 4, you almost have to start running. If you want to run the bottom out of 4, you kind of need to run the middle entering 3 for that to work. But these trucks get so close to the ground where the rear ends will just come out and jerk you sideways, and eventually you'll probably spin off that corner. Saw David Weishart do that last night en route to his DNF from the race. We could easily see that again. Turn 4 has always been a trouble spot here as Eric Wineland getting up to speed. Michael Curran also trying to get above that cut line going in Kansas, maybe even lock in to the next round tonight as he's going for his 2 qualifying laps here. First lap, 10th position behind 6 other playoff drivers, loose out of turn 2. You'll wind it up for at least 1 more lap here. Well, definitely 1 more lap. Really sideways. You can see him working the wheel on the camera on the bottom right. I don't think he was very happy with it, but he did improve to 8th even with that wiggle.
Yeah, what's the sign say? Being a Cowboys fan, I'm going to do everything I can to not be like them and be eliminated in the first round. But as you see where he is amongst the sea of yellow on the ticker, Connor, you can't be the best of the rest at this stage. You have to be one of those best 8 to move forward. You're not just going to scrape through anymore. It's go time.
Speaking of scrape, I think Slaughter almost did get a scrape of the wall. He's one of the former champions in this series, always fast here, but he was fast last night especially, but really no data to go off for this one. We've gone to the dirt track here in Bristol for the Truck Series, never on the concrete, so this is new for everyone in this Truck Series, and we'll see who can conquer it tonight. He's gonna start somewhere maybe in the top 10. He did not improve that well. He's gonna stay in 11th actually. He didn't improve at all lap 2. So Slaughter, you can see those guys in red not really coming up in front of the guys in yellow. So it's not a great start to the night for those drivers.
Have you really never done a pavement Bristol race here?
I've not seen history of it.
Wow.
I've seen, it's funny, I look on Sim Racer Hub, I see 2 Bristol Dirts, one from 2021 and one from normal, because I guess they added like the burbs on the bottom.
Well,
so
I
it's
guess
that different.
I guess we normally do Martinsville for this group, right? So usually you're doing either or. You don't normally do both in a season. So Martinsville's been the past, and Bristol is the future. We had a really good cup race last night. We had a bunch of yellows and some drama towards the end, but the excitement was off the hook. See if the same is true tonight. Mason Kane up at the top in that 31. That bodes well for him in the Huckett Films car. New livery on the vehicle as well tonight. It looks nice and shiny right now, but give it 180 laps, it might not look like that at the end.
Yeah, I would be surprised. It looks dirty already. It's going to be actually dirty by the end, I would say. That's a big bonus point for him to get, as it seems like no one else is really going to be able to put a time down. Pretty much everyone has put a time down besides Bobby Tinch, who has not attempted a time. He probably won't have time to as well unless he goes right now, but this will likely be our qualifying results. This will almost certainly be the top 10. Bronson Stafford, Justin Munsell, 2 of the non-playoff drivers in there, as well as reigning series champion James Scioli. He won't have a chance to defend his title, but he can go out right there for wins, but he'll start 6th tonight. He was very fast last night as well.
Now maybe he gets wild card status because he's not in the playoffs. He could certainly mix things up at the front and take a win from someone that otherwise would be moving on, but his luck has been poor this season. That's why he's not in the show. Brad Slaughter Jr. and Jacob Bell, they've got some work to do. They're some of the last of the playoff competitors. Joshua Balliet certainly does have some work to do. He'll start in 23rd. Just under 30 trucks here tonight, Connor, coming off of 40-ish fields the last few weeks in all the series. This might feel actually pretty calm out there. Just, I mean, I don't want to say that, but 30 trucks. It's not a small field by any stretch, but it is lighter than we've seen, which might mean we get a nice long green flag run. We saw some green flag pit stops last night at Bristol. I haven't seen that in years, but we saw 2 before we got a caution last night.
Yeah, I don't think that those strategies were going to work because you're going to lose 3 laps at a single pit road. So pitting under green here is a death sentence, as it was, because then we had the yellow, Ricky Springer, and I think the other one was David Weishart, maybe. I know one of them was definitely Ricky Springer that got caught 3 laps down. It's hard to recover from that, so I'd be shocked if you see that happen again because you lose too much time doing so. But if we get a lot of green flag running, you're going to have to take a green flag pit stop. But we'll see all these drivers, if we go that long in green flag running, everyone's going to go to fuel to the end. They're going to take that fuel at the very end. You're going to see drivers running out of fuel on this track. So that's going to be interesting to see. 30 trucks tonight. It's still a lot of trucks for Bristol. You're going to have 2 pit roads in order tonight. We're going to see a lot of chaos, I think, on the restarts like we saw last night. That's where you're going to be making up the spots the easiest. So you're going to have to make sure if you're going to gain spots and push the tires hard, you got to do it in the first 10 laps.
Race fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. As a subscriber, you'll have Area iRacing emotes to use in the chat. You can also earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise just for $5 a month at twitch.tv/Area iRacing. And a little HelloFresh is our new starting grid sponsor here for the rest of the season. Looking to eat healthier in 2024 without having to spend extra money? HelloFresh is here to help. Choose from over 40 calorie-smart and protein-smart meal options each week. Each meal arrives pre-portioned, giving you less time to prep and more time to enjoy your meal. HelloFresh also gives you free breakfast for life with an active subscription. What are you waiting for? Click the link to get started with America's #1 meal kit today and use the coupon code to save 50% off your first box. Make sure you punch in !HelloFresh in your Twitch chat on twitch.tv/Area iRacing to get that coupon code. As we head down to the racetrack for our starting lineup here, Connor, kicking things off on the front row is going to be Mason Kane in that number 31. Jake Matheson in the 52. Last night's winner will roll off in second place.
And then third place, we're going to see more playoff drivers throughout this top 10, top 15. Justin Munsell, not one of those, though he starts third tonight. John Hall, 2 or 3 wins this season, most recently at IRP, will start fourth.
And fifth place will be Justin Anasogak in the number 88. James Scioli rolls off sixth in the number 7.
Seventh place, not the 7th Scioli, it's the 28 of Travis Beckner, who's been probably the second most dominant driver this season, behind teammate Matheson. He starts 7th. Michael Carahan starting below the cut line tonight in 8th.
And ninth place will be David Weishart in the 33. His luck has been abysmal in the other series, but maybe in the trucks he can find some luck tonight. Starts 9th in his Tundra alongside Bronson Stafford's 61.
And 11th place, Brad Slaughter Jr., former champion, trying to get above the cut line himself, but he starts almost further back than almost any other playoff driver. He'll start alongside the number 2 truck, the Ford F-150 of Greg Mitchell.
Jacob Bell starts 13th in the number 77. Sean Peachin starts 14th in the number 69.
15th place is 05 of Adam Capps, one of the elite trucks in the field tonight, alongside one of the Weishart trucks, Toyota Tundra TRD Pro, that's Bryce Senesac.
Tom Bourne rolls off in 17th place in the number 16 Toyota Tundra. Ryan Swan starts 18th in the number 20.
HyperX Silverado always looking nice. Shane Thiering in the number 38 truck. He starts 19th. Another Silverado alongside him. The Valvoline truck, Colin Fambro, starts 20th.
And James Sheenwolf brings his F-150 up to 21st for the start. Danny Ware starts 22nd in the 49.
23rd place, actually the furthest back starting playoff driver tonight. Joshua Balliet had a great run at IRP, but is in a hole to start tonight. He starts 23rd. Garrett Grant starts alongside him at 24th.
It's Sam Fontaine rolling off 25th. Jason Dalton starts 26th in the 02.
Then 27th place will be Eric Wineland back there. And Case Lakatos, who's in the Cup playoffs, not in the truck playoffs, he starts 28th. And then only one other qualifier tonight. That'll be Bobby Tinch starting dead last. 29 trucks on the field tonight.
All right, Connor, let's see who wins. I'll let you pick first tonight.
It kind of seems like low-hanging fruit, but he hasn't won this season, so I guess it's not. I'm going James Scioli. It just seems crazy that he hasn't won this season. He's not in the playoffs because of it, but I'm going with the 7.
I don't hate it. I'm going to roll with a truck that won last night. Well, the truck did, the driver did. Jake Matheson's going to roll off on the outside of the front row. This team has just been on fire across all the championships this year. I think the 52 is going to get it. I'm just trying to play safe and grab some points. So let's roll with the 52 tonight. Race distance is 180 laps. If it goes green from flag to flag, which is a silly idea, this race would take 43 minutes. It will likely take a bit longer with the dramas along the way. Well, it's time to get the Gladiators in the Cereal Bowl. Here we go. Coliseum racing at Bristol. Green flag. Lap 1 complete, and trucks already making the music here. And a couple trucks a little bit wide. 12 spin, turn 4, Ryan Swan, and he's going to collect the 0.5 as well. And there's the caution. I think everyone kept it straight except for Casey Lakatos. And that was it.
More importantly, no playoff drivers. Not to take away from the drivers still in the field, but Balliet was the one in trouble back there, but he gets through. We'll take a look. First Simrat marker replay, and it took us a lap and a half just about as it happened.
Oh, I think I missed the truck I was aiming for. Here we go. This is the he just gets loose.
Caps, 16 Bourne. Fambro got a pretty big chunk of it, but somehow not bigger than that. And that's what it's kind of a product of these trucks here. For some reason, they bottom out very easily when you're going through the corners. So you have a lot of cornering speed, but Cup cars don't bottom out nearly this badly to the point where you're spinning, where you could see it bumping and bumping up and down, and he just spins. Nothing he could do, and collects 4 or 5 other trucks.
Is that something that'll get better as the tire pressure comes up, Connor? I feel like it's probably just because the ground clearance is significantly lower when you're running such a low tire pressure.
I think you're right. I think it will get better, but you have to get 5-10 laps, probably 10 laps at least on these tires before that gets better. So if you can't weather the storm, we're going to be in for a long night. But like you said, once we do get some time to get these tires up to temp, it will get off the ground, and we should get some green flag running, hopefully. Yep,
so Ryan Swan, Colin Fambro down on pit lane. Casey Lakatos is as well. I didn't see if he had gotten any damage. See the rear going up there just a smidge. But Mason King was able to hang on to the lead. I think the other thing that's key tonight, Connor, is leading to the restart. It is so hard to start in that front row and get the lead because the jump is so powerful here. And And I would like the track position tonight, but we did see a lot of tire wear in the Cup Series cars last night, which we've only really seen one other time this season. Tire wear hasn't really been a problem. We've seen it to many extents in the Truck Series and Florida State Builders Pro Series all season, but I want track position, but tires have been a pretty valuable resource at times as well.
I would think it's going to be valuable again tonight with how hard I think it's going to be to pass. You would most certainly want to stay up there, as I'm sure Mason Kane's going to make sure he gets away here no matter what. He actually, you know, we've seen it all season. It's hard to keep the lead on an initial start because second place gets just as big of a chance to get the lead as you do. So Mason did a great job. We get one to green as he'll be able to get the jump this time on the 52 of Jake Matheson.
Yeah, nice quick yellow because everyone's on the lead lap, so we don't have to have that extra one for the lap down pitting. Good look at Brad Slaughter. We don't normally get a look at Brad Slaughter on race weeks, but there he is again. On the ticker color code here, yellow is above the cut line, red is below it, green is advanced to the next round. We won't have anybody in green tonight unless at the very end someone in yellow wins the race. Actually, or someone in red, to be honest. Anybody with a color other than white. We'll be restarting lap number 6. The outside lane tried to go, but Kane held him off in the restart zone. We're back underway. Lap 6.
Away. It's going to be tough to pass until we get these tires worn in, so anyone at the front is going to be making sure they don't lose their track position on this short run, as Kane's going to keep the lead. Matheson, Munsell, Hall, Curhan are single file through the top 5, and then it's, you know, 2 best friends in this league, Beckner and Scioli side by side, and then more 2x2 in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, Beckner and Matheson were kind of center stage last night in the battle with the Solar Flare boys. That got dramatic, as it sometimes can get. Entertaining nonetheless. But Miller Racing went out on top last night. But some hurt feelings, certainly.
Hurt feelings doesn't matter tonight. Everyone's feelings are going to be in a bad spot because they're at Bristol. And a lot of people probably don't want to be at Bristol, but self-spin in the back. Do not see who that was. I think it was Lakatos again.
Swan was also slow, so we'll take a look at it when we get another chance, but there's still racing happening. Sean Peachin, James Shane Wolf, Weishart, and Bell back here for about 12.
And so hard on the bottom, because if you don't go hard when running this bottom line like Bronson Stafford is right now, you know you're going backwards. Same thing for Weishart, so you just got to either tough it out and hope you can find a hole on the outside in this line, or just end up weathering the storm and go all the way to the rear of this line. Right now it looks like Weishart's going to have to probably wait for a hole in the top and just get in line because he's falling back. That's the tough thing about short runs. You want to restart on top so you can make that move. As you know, for second place, Justin Munsell powered around the outside of Jake Matheson. I think everyone's running the bottom right now trying to save tire, but Munsell wants that track position.
Yeah, Munsell up to P2. Now, tell me about what we should expect as far as the lanes shifting around. Whoa, big slide for Slaughter. He's going to drop to the bottom, and it's getting fierce here for about 11th spot.
He got doored by Jacob Bell, but he kept it straight and kept the truck in one piece, thankfully. Oh, 0-1's loose. Oh, Shane Wolf's around.
Gonna tag
Weishart's going to get a piece of it.
Or Weishart, rather, and there goes Shane Wolf and cautions out.
Danny Ware got a little piece of it as well. That's our first playoff driver in trouble. It's a decent bit of right front damage.
He's having other issues as well. I don't know that this is cause or an effect, but back a little further.
Didn't even know Munsell got the lead just before that yellow, but he slides here, and Tom Bourne couldn't check up in time, and then he fully spins it. Nowhere for Weishart to go, and that's a big hit.
That is a big hit. We're going to worry about the suspension geometry, and someone snuck through there
anywhere.
At the very end. Weishart has not had the luckiest of seasons, but that's been typical.
See, wiggling Bourne can't do anything. Weishart just hoping he stays up there, and he doesn't. Definitely have to come down to. I think you'd have to come down to repair that. The right front is sticking out pretty big time. It's not going to matter. I mean, aero matters here with how fast they're going in the corners, but you can still kind of get away from it, but it's going to hurt that right front tire's wear a lot more, as they've ruled that a racing deal, and 33 will come down to repair some of that damage. Hopefully all of it, as Anna Sogak pits from 8th, which is a little surprising, seeing he has no damage.
Yeah, also, might as well go back and have a look here at the battle for the lead that was happening while this was going on. There's Munsell around the outside and just managed to snag it before the yellow flag came out. Justin Munsell on a charge forward.
Yeah, he's ready to go right now. He's still looking. He's been kind of so close to wins. I remember the race at IRP last season, at the end of last season, that he could have easily won, just wasn't able to do so. Still waiting on his first Truck Series win. Actually, no, we're not. We're waiting on his second win. But he's been so close to that second win so many times since he won at Richmond in Season 3. This could be the night. He looks really fast as we get another look at this incident that happened. Didn't bring out the yellow.
Yeah, it's going to happen here, I think, next time around.
Thought it was the 50. Oh yeah, Latadas.
Yeah, Swan just had to stop to miss him. Actually did a great job missing him. But back to see how AC found himself sideways. Just same thing, just loose, bottoming out and kept it straight. But going back to what I was saying before the chaos erupted, how do you expect the lines to move around? Because, again, this is the first time that we've done Bristol since the Oval update. Does it feel different? Did the lines change around from where we're used to? I mean, typically, it's the inside lane for a couple laps. After a restart, you can make moves, and then it's almost high line from there on out.
I feel like you want to be on the high line on the short run, though. It's just too hard because to pass on the bottom, you really need that room up on the exit of the corner to clear your competitor. But you're not going to have that on a restart because you're 2x2 packed up, and they're not going to give you that room up because they're racing you. So I want to be on the top for restarts. But if you get a long run, you want to be on the bottom. The bottom is going to be the faster line because that top line is going to tighten you up too much to the point where you're not going to be getting runs off the corner on that high line, even if you run it. So I would rather be on the top for the short run, just to maintain track position. But if you have the opportunity to run the bottom on the short run, you do that first. But very likely you're not going to be able to do that unless you're at the front like Mason Kane was. But even if you're doing that, trying to save the tires in the bottom, Justin Munsell, like he did, he can come up on the outside pushing hard and take your line away and take the lead away, which he did. So I'd rather be on the top early if I can be to make up track position, but the bottom is where you probably want to be for tire saving in long run.
See how things pan out. Lap 20. Had a couple of cautions already. Pace truck's going to peel back off. Lap 21. Let's restart this thing. Munsell on the inside. And the number 6 is your control truck, and his Tundra fires off. And everybody's still rolling. Tinch is 7 laps down. Everybody else that started the race, I think, is still running.
Tinch on pit lane. Weissart went a lap down to repair damage. Looking for a quick yellow. Would not be surprised if he gets it as top 4 or 5 single file out. Beckner on the top, holding off Curhan. Curhan kind of blocks Scioli's line, makes sure he doesn't get the right rear of the 24, and they're still side by side in the middle of the pack like they always are on these restarts, as Greg Mitchell's leading the high line trying to make up ground. Yeah,
it's hard to find the pinpoint of the energy because it just seems to violently bounce around between about 5th spot and about 15th spot. Both of those can be pretty exciting. There's going to be a stack up out of 4. Sam Fontaine, I think, is backed up into this mix, and he's going to drop behind Ryan Swan, Anna Sogak, Ware, and a few others. Anna Sogak, remember, has got fresher tires than everybody else by about 20 laps.
Maybe by about 20 laps, but I don't know how much of that is used. Shane will send the wall again, but he keeps it straight. Not sure how much that's going to matter.
Oh, truck spinning.
Garrett Grant, Stafford, Wineland, Dalton's in it, Lakatis, they're piling up. Caution again. That looked like blocking into 3 gone wrong. Wow, this is a parking lot.
Sure is.
Not many big hits, but a lot of contact.
A lot of spins and slides. And
whoa, look out. Look out for the leaders. Oh, man, Munsell had to stop. Seen that before. It's what happens when they wreck at Bristol. They're not cleared. You got to stop, and you got to make sure you're aware.
So I think the 5 was the epicenter here. So I got to go back a little further. So the 61 and the 5.
It looked like Stafford tried to block here. Well, I don't know if I don't think he tried to block.
I want to look at that again, and then it's just chain reaction there at that point. About half a dozen trucks in it. This is a tricky one for me. Did he close the door? Yeah. Did the 5 really have an opportunity to jam the nose down there? Probably not.
I don't think. Yeah, looking back at that, I don't think that was a block from Stafford. I think he assumed. I don't think he really thought Garrett Grant would actually try that move.
No, that's from a little far back this early in the race.
And late, too. It's a very late move on that tree. Stafford did everything he could to give Garrett Grant the room, but there wasn't anything left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trucks, and a Sogak. I know Fambro got a piece of that.
Tell you what, Ryan Swan's brakes have been getting to work out tonight.
Not going to have any left at this rate.
No.
This reminds me of lap 1 crash where Kyle Busch got his bumper ripped off.
Oh, man. Yeah, for Grant, though, I mean, again, I'm thinking from a road racer perspective, that would be, you know, if you did that in a road race, that's avoidable contact all the time. But ovals run on a slightly different rule. I mean, if the door is open, you could get overlap, generally fair game, but not really hard and fast necessarily. So I don't know that anyone's at fault, but I think
called it a racing deal.
Yeah, I think both could have given there. It's too early to be doing stuff like that. Reserve that for lap 160 and don't lift next time, you know?
I would say so. Might even lap 150 without quick these laps wind off. I still haven't had many pit stops at the front. Anna Sogak, he pit from the top 10, which is surprising, but he was the only one to do so far. Fambro pit from 18th and brought majority of the people behind him, but everyone else still logging laps here under yellow, maybe saving fuel just in case maybe they can make it on enough caution laps.
Well, we're going to be 2 to green. We'll be 1 to green next time by Munsell. Mentioned clicking off laps. Doing just that. Mason Kane second, Jake Matheson third. John Hall got a couple of wins this season and lingering in 4th at the moment.
Meanwhile, we're talking about Weishart elected to peril the damage to hope for a quick yellow. He got it, he got through it, and he got the lucky dog, so it's fully repaired and we'll have to fight back to the front.
Yeah, I just have to imagine, even though the body work is repaired, it still takes a mental toll on you. And it's just been such a tough season all around. At least he's in the playoffs in this one, so they got kind of wrestled out of another championship opportunity in India a couple of weeks ago. EOL here, what's going
on? Tail end, lucky dog.
Yeah. It's coming to the restart now, lap 30. 10 laps after our prior restart. Munsell, Kane, Matheson, Hall, your front 2 rows. Then it's Beckner and Kurhan. Tell you what, the 28, 03, and 52. That trio is going to be hard to beat up front. Got 31 up there as well. It'll be a good show. Here we go, lap 31, restarting here, the Area Truck Series at Bristol. John Hall drops to the inside of Matheson, or the outside rather. He might have this if he can carry the speed, but Justin Munsell trying to step out and grab a couple more tenths of a second. 3/10 is the advantage for the 6 truck.
Hall's going to try to get this spot, just hoping, he's probably hoping Mason Kane doesn't take his line away on the exit to hurt him, but I think he'll clear Matheson regardless. He does, so put him up to 3rd. He's climbing through quickly, and now it's 2 by 2, much further up in the field with Beckner on the high side trying to make ground quick. Getting around Matheson, who's starting to kind of slide back here. I think everyone's noticing we're getting a short run race, so everyone I think is getting a little more crazy on these short runs, just trying to get what they can. Beckner's one of them. Kurhan, Greg Mitchell also on the top side trying to gain ground.
Jacob Bell in that 77. Again, he's in the red coming into the night. He needs to get more positions and needs to pass trucks that are in the yellow. He's only ahead of Weishart and Valiette right now, not by much, as you can see. So as far as making it to the next round of the playoffs, Jacob Bell is just needs to do better than this, quite frankly. And they're still side by side, Kurhan and Matheson now for the 5th spot. 52's gone backwards since the green flag.
Kind of saw this last night. You ride that bottom line. If you're trying to save tires, you're going to get passed. So you just got to be aware of that and just hope it works out for you. Matheson and Scioli kind of doing the same thing right now, just not trying to battle the bottom, the top side pretty much. Not trying to battle them too hard, just kind of making sure their tires are good in case we get a long run here. But it can bite them if they get a yellow at a bad time.
It's one of those races that probably just needs 20, 30 laps for people to get into the rhythm, but it's hard to do when you're side by side. It's tight back here between Scioli and who's that on the high side there? This is 16 to Tom Bourne.
And also Justin Anna Sogak on the outside of the 7. So at 88 has actually made those tires work pretty well to get back into the top 10.
Tom Bourne not fighting for a championship like he was last season, was in a pretty good spot. Had some decent results and went fairly far along, but not this time around. Lots of green on the timing and scoring. There's positions changing hands, but mostly because they're just kind of in lockstep here on the inside and the outside, Connor. Not really decisive blows being dealt either way.
Ain't nowhere to go quite yet, as Mason Kane's kind of holding everyone at bay right now. Is 3 wide. Slaughter had an issue in the background. Slaughter's sliding. He's spinning in 1 and 2. And the playoff drivers, he saved it, but he's going to lose a lot of track position.
Yeah, that's going to be costly, but at least didn't bend the fenders up or anything, but tires will be angry at that. This is a mess.
Here. Yeah, this is a mess. You slide him once here, you're going to be in for a bad run. It is a mess. Mason Kane's kind of been the cork in the bottle, but a few drivers finally getting around him. Curhan to second, Sean Peach in the third, which is a great run for him so far. And Anna Sogak also on fresh tires, about to break the top 4. Kane's getting kind of ganged up on the top side. He switched to the top side. I don't know if he got tight there or what, but right in front of John Hall.
It's going to create a bit of a bottleneck behind him, I think, as well. As you pointed out, even the top side, he's not able to really hold station up there. Watching the 8 on my camera on my other monitor, he is just wrestling the wheel of this number 8 truck, struggling with it right now.
Yeah, when you get a loose short run truck and you slide them once, you're going to be in for such a bad ride for a little while. It is not going to be fun, so just got to wait it out and just hope it gets better, and probably hope for Yellow to get another set of tires on it, because he's not in a good
slow truck. Slide. Ryan Swan, and he's collected it.
Why I save that, but it's not been a good night for him so far either.
Hall to the bottom of Mason Kane here with Tom Bourne stacked up, and there's a truck sideways. Caps.
Ew, and if it barrels too, no yellow for it. And he went in the pit entry.
Yeah.
That's really going to cost him a lot of time too.
Multiple laps, unfortunately, and just the same thing, loose by himself. Not lucky we didn't get a yellow for that one.
Yeah, lucky with the barrels. He'll go at least 3 down, I think, as the battle for the lead's ongoing. Curran's caught Justin Munsell, Sean Peachin, Justin Anasogak also lurking, as that 6 has been caught. He's sideways into a wall out of the corner, and the 24 is ready to pounce.
Yeah, Justin Munsell on defense now. Curhan to the bottom.
Munsell shuts it down completely there, chopped him off as well. That's going to really hurt his momentum. Here comes Peachin. Did not look to the bottom, and like I thought he would, and Sogak hit the wall. He looks bottom so fast it's almost hard to keep up with the action going on here, but you got almost a little bit of a single file action now, at least sort of through the front 5 or so, but Curhan's about to change that. Swoops to the bottom with the run off the top side, but can he make this pass getting pinched down like this as a 69 Peachin? Huge slide, but kept it straight, and now here comes Anna Sogak to take the top 3 spot.
Yeah, the Peachin truck was not happy the last time through the corner. Still door-to-door for the lead, and this is critical. If Curran can get the nose ahead before anybody wads it up in the rear view, that could be a critical pass and give him the lead for the next who knows how many laps.
This is why it's so hard to pass, because there's not a lot of off-throttle time. Peachin's in the wall this time. He's going to go back outside the top 10 almost, but keeps it straight again. But this is what makes it so hard to pass at this track when you have no off-throttle time. The driver on the outside, they can just defend, and as long as they're pinching you down, you can't do anything about it. So Curhan's kind of in a lockdown here, because every time he goes down there, the 6 kind of pinches to the door. He can't get off the corner like he wants to, and just kind of gets stalled out.
Well, for now, they're clicking away laps, working lap 55 here at Bristol.
Ace Lakatos had a spin through turn 1. That's why he's just in front of the leaders.
Peachin's dropped to 9th and is still losing spots. Jake Matheson's dropped back down to 10th as well, so the pace maybe not there for Jake unless he's saving tires for a long run that he may or may not get.
You got to be careful, because this could be the longest run you do get, so can't be giving up too many spots. I'm sure he's trying to get by Peachin here, because that 69 truck is falling off. Now we're starting to see Curhan. I wouldn't say he's trying to go higher than the 6, but I think he's starting to have to defend from the 88 of Justin Anasogak. Fresher tires, not too fresh compared to the top 2, but just enough where he's been able to get through the field to 3rd.
Looking off the rear tailgate here of Justin Munsell.
Oh, spin, Peachin. Matheson's turned into the wall. They came together out of 2. Caution's out.
And he will avoid what I think is the worst of the damage. And he'll roll away.
Some right front damage. Left rear too, but that his points position, I think he'll be fine.
Oh, Peachin just sent it down there, didn't he? Holy cow. Gotta get another look at that. Looked like he just dove in there on the 28, but
said he got loose. see. Swoop's low.
Oh, no, well.
And rear end's coming out. And then just Matheson just gets clipped.
Got hit kind of twice there. Thankfully, didn't knock the nose off it.
Somehow, I'm shocked it didn't, because it could have been much worse, but he came in tonight about plus 44, so really any finish not horrid should make him almost certainly somewhat locked in, as that's the longest run of the night, and no surprise, it brings everyone down, most drivers for their first set of tires.
Yeah, this is effectively exactly the 1/3 mark of this race, so if you're going to make a two-stopper, this is one of your two.
Which, can't try 2 tires here. Not even, just so loose. 2 tires is just going to exaggerate that, so I don't think we see that at all tonight unless someone's really daring. It worked for John Hall at IRP, but there was a lot less banking there. Got to be careful, make sure you don't turn in front of someone. It's a weird pit road because it's single pit road, so you go through 3 and 4 at 35 miles an hour, and everyone's in their pit stall clean. Don't see anyone who stayed out. Did see Bronson Stafford did, but now he's coming down, so everyone's going to take tires.
I can't remember who it was last night, but somebody kept blowing the pit lane line in turns 3 and 4 because I guess they thought that it was the single pit variant, and they did that 3 times and then just got DQ'd. So,
really?
Yep.
I had no clue about that. That's pretty funny.
Well, I made the point to Finian that, I mean, it was changed a couple of years ago, but for about 10 years, it was single pit only.
Looks like the 88 might have got caught speeding.
Yeah.
All that progress to get to the front, gone.
Just like that.
That's all it takes. It's easy to do here when it's 35 miles an hour.
So we're going to double up and go again. We're getting some rubber in the racetrack now, which I think is helping. But as soon as you start chipping away at these laps in chunks, you start looking up at the your relative box and your lap counter. You start to feel that intensity, because when you get those green flag runs of 20, 30, 40 laps, you start to realize how short this race actually is and how little time you have to get to the front.
Yeah, this race started, what, about 25 minutes ago? We're a third through, so if you get one long green flag run that lasts for maybe 80 laps, you're on track to probably end this race under an hour. It's how quick things can fly out off here, so you can't waste too much time saving tires like Jake Matheson was, because you might not get a longer run again, but also you kind of get caught up in a mess like that, which puts you behind. So now he's going to have to recover from that. Didn't get all of his damage repaired, but I don't think it's going to hurt him too much anyways, but he's going to have to come from 22nd position.
Yeah, just for reference on where we started the race, we started the race about 8:10-ish. It was about, 25 minutes ago. 63 laps in. Gus Munsell is your race leader on the bottom. Green flag back in the air here in the Area Truck Series at Bristol. Curran wasted no time getting into the bottom. Mason Kane restarts third. He was dropping pretty quickly to the tail of the top 10 and has a chance to kind of recover a little bit of his momentum. And of course, the 52 of Jake Matheson, while he was the caution, he's got a new lease on life here with a fresh set of Goodyears, and I guess the only outlook you can have in 20th is a positive one.
You can't lay back and save tires now at this point. You're down so much track position, you need to go now, as Curhan's trying to go for the race lead. He's starting to look higher than the 6 of Munsell, but Munsell's just high enough on the track to the point where I don't think he can get it, but Munsell went to the bottom. Could be Curhan's chance to get the right rear, and he's in the wall. Munsell squeezed him, but he's there.
Munsell is going to probably give this up here if that outside lane goes to the 24, and it does. Curran's going to drive it in there in 3 and 4, and he should have this lead now. It's going to be tough for Munsell to hang on.
More importantly, at least for now, he led that lap, so he gets a bonus point, first one of the night. But you see it loose. He's driving hard to try to keep this lead, but Munsell's driving equally as hard in the bottom, trying to take it away. I'm shocked kind of that he gave the outside to Curhan after defending him up there, but he might be able to keep the 24 at bay for at least one more lap. If he could just clear up, he could keep this lead. And wow. Curhan's tight out of 2, and I think he will, as Curhan gets back in line. But Curhan did get that lap led.
I did not think that Munsell was going to be able to re-clear Curhan on the bottom. So that's something to note for later when we get to the last. I mean, you can't give someone the inside on a late race restart candy counter. You got to protect that inside and just hope that your jump is enough to clear that truck on the outside.
especially on a short run. I think the only way you're passing someone on the bottom is if you do what Jake Nichols did and just drive him into a wall. That's about the only avenue you're going to have because it's just too hard to hold it down there. But at the same time, I am impressed that Munsell was able to do that. I think Curhan just started using too much throttle and got too high on the track and kind of cost him that shot at the lead. Like you said, got a lap led, but now he's got to sit back in line and wait for another shot.
Joshua Balliet up to 12th after starting 23rd. And not looking so bad as far as the playoff picture is concerned. The problem he's got to worry about is, I think, 3 of the 4 drivers that are below the cut line, actually all 3 that are in the race below the cut line, are ahead of him on track. So that's the thing he's got to be worried about, is you don't want anybody in the red numbers above you on the stacker, because that means that they're coming for you on that cut line.
And he's only got 3 drivers under him, and one of them's Jake Matheson, who's not going to be a factor points-wise, most likely, for the 0-7 to even catch. Then you got Anna Sogak and Weishart. So definitely, just like we saw last night, my driver Jeremy Miller, he finished 10th. Great run for him, but he lost points to the cut line. So top 10s aren't going to cut it. You need to run top 5 almost every race, and you probably do need the win. But we saw that last season. Tom Boren grinded out top 10s to almost make the Final Four. But at the end of the day, you need that win to advance yourself. You can't just top 10 your way into the title race anymore, as here comes John Hall for second.
Look at Travis Beckner. He had the fire lit under him last night with some late race antics that got messy. Bloody knuckles at the end of that thing. Here comes that 0-3, as you pointed out, John Hall. And it is a Toyota, a Chevrolet, and a Ford in the top 3 at the moment.
Hall's ripping the bottom pretty well right now. Curran, I don't think he wants to go further backwards than this, than really in second. But I don't think he's going to have a choice. Hall looks strong. He's carrying the bottom line on the exit very well. Curran drives it in deep, but he loses a little bit center exit because of that. He almost hits the wall trying to stick on the outside. He's shocked if he holds this off for much longer. John Hall looks strong.
Just don't recall the bottom being this strong last night. I don't know if it's something with the trucks or the setup or what. Maybe running up the hill and putting more compression on the truck is what's causing the bottoming out problem. But either way, don't mind the bottom lane. I don't think it's your long-term, long-term strategy to run down there. I don't think it's fast after 50 laps, but maybe for 10 or 20.
I feel like there was long run last night, but right now I don't know. It just seems a little bit better. Maybe you're more stable down there right now, which seems to be the case. But now he's going to go to the top side just as stable. He's going to look for the lead on Munsell, and I don't think Munsell really saw that coming. I don't think he'll be able to defend this one. Loose on the bottom that time. John Hall is going to be the new leader.
Mason Kane and Travis Beckner all moving forward. What do all those drivers have in common? They're all teammates.
All moving forward at the same time. Now we're going to see Munsell start to fall here. You kind of saw the signs that this would happen long run. He was really barely fending off Curhan. Now he's back to 3rd. Mason Kane back up to 2nd. Now Munsell's got 3 or 4 trucks on his rear bumper trying to get by him, and 2 of them are playoff drivers in Curhan and Beckner, so it's going to be hard to defend this one.
Keeping a steady hand on the wheel for the time being. Mason Kane, you pointed out, up to 2nd place, and he was looking like a roadblock in that first run. Something's turned around, and that 6 has found another gear, and here he is. Whoops, this is still Munsell. Kane up in 2nd, looking back to Justin Munsell.
Yeah, definitely seemed like he was going to fall outside of top 5, but he's found something in his truck, or maybe just pushing harder. Now he goes to the outside of John Hall to try to retake the lead back, which would be a big deal. He could get close to that most laps led bonus if he leads some more. Now he goes back to the lead. I think you wonder if John Hall was pushing really hard just to get that bonus point, because he kind of lowered his pace, and now Munsell's back to his outside.
Yeah, now keep an eye. Justin Munsell has led 66 laps. So, we go another, 30, 40 laps. No one can take that most laps led away from Justin Munsell, and that's a point that absolutely someone in the playoffs could use, and Munsell is not in it. So it's kind of a waste for the playoff drivers if a non-playoff driver gets the most laps led, and got some work to do to catch back up to Munsell's total, which is 66 laps.
Especially if Munsell starts to pick up the pace. I don't know who's good short run or long run right now, because everyone's kind of going back and forth. Curhan's kind of steady in 4th, but the 6 was starting to fall off. Now he's going back for the lead on Mason Kane to the inside. Thought John Hall would start to pull away. He drops back to 3rd, and Curhan looks back to his outside. Really between these 5 right now. Don't know who's faster or who's slower, as Munsell almost got into Mason Kane there. The only constant's been Travis Beckner in 5th. He's kind of biding his time.
And lap traffic on the horizon, at least 2 trucks, as Curhan sees the door open to the outside of John Hall. Comers and goers up here in the top 10.
Yeah, that's especially the top 5. It's kind of been the case right now, although they're still pulling away from about 6th on back. James Scioli's been in 6th. He's been the constant, kind of sitting back here. Well, they're still battling back here as well. Tom Bourne, solidly good run in 7th. Brad Slaughter trying to get more points for his playoff run. He's now 8th in front of Jacob Bell, who's also battling for points.
Oops, wrong driver.
Caution.
There's Brad, and it's Bronson Stafford and
big
Ryan
crash.
Swan. These two drivers have just not had a night.
That slows the pace down, which I'm sure some drivers are going to like. Let's see what happened here. They came together pretty late in the corner. This had to be another... Let's see here. It's going to be another self-spin. Yes, it is. Same thing from caution 1.
Ooh.
Oh, and Bronson Stafford had nowhere to go.
No.
And that's his 2nd, so that's a pass-through for Ryan Swan.
Yeah. And that pass-through here puts you laps down. I mean, 3 laps down.
Yeah, unless you get a yellow, which I think someone did get helped. As Garrett Grant gets a timely lucky dog there, but yeah. Kind of seen that from Swan. We saw it at Michigan, a lot of self-spins. It seems like these tracks that have loose setups kind of hurt him, as we're going to get another round of pit stops 30 laps after the last yellow. Everyone wants another fresh set.
You could probably make it to the end from here, I'd imagine, easily. So this could be your last stop. I just don't know. We're going to get more yellows. I'm sure the question is, when is the latest opportunity? Connor, you tried to pit pretty late last night. It might have worked, but it's just the track's plugged up like a cork at the end. It's hard to make passes. So when is too late to get your final sets? Let's start counting down from there.
I think too late to get to make your last pit stop. I would think probably the 30 laps to go range. I don't remember exactly when I pit from, but where I was at, I was tail end of the lead lap, and no one pit in front of me, and I pit and a lot of people behind me pit. I would have probably still gained spots back if I didn't get taken out by Blaze McKinney and Ryan Hart's situation. But I think it's about that 30 to go range where you're kind of cringing at the fact that pitting is like, yeah, but there's, you get really scared, because if it doesn't go green those 30 laps, you're not going to gain much. That's what was going to help me, because we were going to have green flag running. But, the incident that didn't bring out the yellow kind of hampered that, and also having to race other drivers who are running the bottom line. That's the main focus. When the bottom line gets clogged and all lines are clogged, it's kind of like Talladega from last week. When all those lanes are used up, you have nowhere to go to get to the front. That's the risk of pitting around 30 to go. I think 50 to 40 to go, you can make it work, but anything under that, you're risking it.
Well, we're past halfway here, folks. We've had a handful of looks at our Sim Wrap Market replay, and we're about 85 laps from wrapping it up. Look, race fans, head over to simwrapmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple and easy to use, so it keeps you more focused on the racetrack. Number 7 truck is in 7th and rocking the Rick's Hot Sauce truck. And I'm sure it'll get spicy here towards the end of things. Race fans, make sure you check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Try the Loxahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see which driver will take home that $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. So, restart. Anna Sogak out on 35 lap old tires. Like it or hate it?
I don't really like it, but if we get a quick yellow and he's not involved in it, it'll work out for him. He took a set earlier, so he's behind a set, just trying to save one here. And plus, he's going to get a bonus point for leading a lap because of this, so it's not the worst thing in the world. But if this goes green, he's going to be in a bad spot.
So 84 laps to go at the restart. If it goes green, it's 20 minutes from now. This race is over in under an hour. Green flag, lap 97 of 180, and Justin Anasogak pulls away nicely. And the rest of the field gets up to speed behind him.
Speed for sure. Anasogak, we'll see how long he gets held off here. Which lane's going to go forward first? It's going to be the top. Mason Kane is going to get the lead, and he could get some big track position here if the 88 starts holding up a lot of these drivers.
Big squeeze up there for Justin Munsell. You don't want to get trapped behind the 88 on the bottom. And that
caution. And it's Sean Peacham. Another one who's had a kind of a rough night.
Wrap market replay, and
Fambro come together.
I think he spun to the right. Higher spin. Oh no, he got touched.
18. Yeah, 18 kind of came down the track off the wall. Couldn't tell if there was much space. They called it net code.
Yeah, there was a little bit there.
18 off the wall there.
There are often incidents where they're called net code, and I look at them and I can tell that they would have happened with or without it. But this one, I think, no one was doing anything erratic, so I think they might have avoided that. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good amount.
That was a.
That's a pretty
that's
good
a lot
foot.
of space.
So yeah, I don't think Fambro meant to do that or saw that at all. So caution out now as we're rolling on caution number 8.
A lot of cautions, 100
6.
lap span. So even still a decent amount of yellows. Adam Capps gets a lucky dog. He's back lead lap. Leaves Jason Dalton 2 down. Ryan Swan's now 5 down. Bronson Stafford, James Shainwolf, Bobby Tinch are all out of this race for the time being. As almost forgot to note, is the 38 lit up in yellow or red? Because he is a playoff driver.
No, he's not. He should be.
Oops.
There's always
haven't
one.
really talked about him tonight.
Yeah, it's been kind of
17th.
Quiet driver, huh?
Yeah. Got a win in Pro Series at Charlotte on Tire Strategy. He's had a quiet truck season. It's definitely been a quiet night, but quiet nights aren't going to get you through, and he's kind of been outside the top 10 majority of tonight, so he'll have some work to do to get up there in points. As the 88 did not pit, so he's going to try to stick this out at least one more restart, now from second. Under 80 to go. Not too many people pit either. Like you said, you could probably make it on fuel from here, and that was not long enough of a run to take another set, but the 88's still trying to make some track position up.
JT says hi from where he's racing in Florida.
Somewhere.
Sounds like. But it sounds like he's racing the big cars down there in Florida and asking where his name is. Well, you can't be in the show. You're not in the show. Want to see your name? Here it is. I'm 12th.
And it will unfortunately stay there.
For now, at least.
Win next week, it doesn't matter. So
something
just win at Kansas.
Yeah, well,
if you can.
Something tells me that Kansas is going to mesh well. I think that's going to be a good round for JT. I can feel that. I'm not sure if he likes that place at all, but something. I got a commentator hunch that. Ooh, Mason Kane had a big blink there. Well, I'm going to preemptively pick JT next week at Kansas. Mark that down.
All right, I'll write it somewhere.
I feel good about it.
I have paper next to me. I just don't want to write on it, but I'll remember.
Doubled up, Mason Kane is your leader. He's going to choose the outside lane for the restart, and we'll have 77 laps to go this time. John Hall's having some issues there with connectivity tonight as well. Here we go. Green flag.
Yeah, this restart goes 88 on old tires, not the control truck, so might really stack the bottom up for Munsell. Munsell's going to take it maybe 3 wide. The 88's going to get split here. Or maybe not. Beckner couldn't do it.
Yeah, Beckner's going to get trapped behind the 88 now. I don't know how long he'll tolerate that. He's going to go to the high side this time. Big mess out of 4 this time. Or out of 2.
That got checked up, but the 28 did get to be outside the 88, so Munsell's going to follow him through and just concede that spot to the 28 preemptively as they work around the 88 as John Hall hunting for that lead on Mason Kane.
The laps happen so fast here. Here comes that 0-3.
Looking, but not going to another line quite yet. Steady on the bottom. He's fine with that. Beckner's going to do the same thing, but now we're going to see the 6 of Justin Munsell start to use that high line to make spots up as John Hall went high, maybe to block that or just try a different line to get the race lead for Mason Kane. It's kind of a guessing game as Munsell splits the middle 3 wide. It's a guessing game. You're always trying to run different lines, and then you get to start protecting lines as John Hall's really having bad issues. You start blocking lines and kind of preemptively guessing where the driver behind you is going to go. It becomes a guessing game here at this track as Beckner gets second away and all that.
Certainly does. Move Travis Beckner up to second place, and like I said last night, You give Travis Beckner track position and someone ahead of him and a reason, and he will find you the lead of this race. Problem is, I don't think he's got a reason quite yet because that 31 is a teammate, so he'll play nice with him.
All teammates at the front, top 3. We've seen this a lot this season in trucks.
Action is everywhere in midfield right now. David Weishart recovering up to 10th place. And this is working out to be a pretty decent night, despite the troubles he had early getting caught up in that collision.
Went a lap down, got it back, and now he's finally back in the top 10. So if he can hold this, at least even make up some more positions, it could work out well for him as the battle for third. Hall still holding back Justin Munsell as those 4 kind of get away from the rest of the field. He gives a shot to the 0-3. He almost completely shoved him into the corner. So maybe not happy with the way he's being raced or just trying to get the chrome horn ready for the end of the race. But he falls off. Self-spin out of 2 for Dalton.
Dalton, he's going to stay on the apron, but the caution is out with, we got 65 laps to go.
Yes. Stays on the lead lap at least, no damage. Same thing we've seen all night, this one on the exit.
Yeah, and it's low too. We haven't seen trucks spin from that low on the racetrack. Normally they've been middle of high. But just loops it around.
Certainly getting the EOL, but yeah, really weird. It kind of, you know, the banking's kind of weird down there on the exit of 4, but we kind of saw David Weishart do that in the Cup car last night. So something about the exit there that causes trucks to step out is another break for all these drivers going crazy, but also less laps when we get this restart to the point where we might see the drivers 5th, 6th on back start to get really crazy and try to work their way to the front. Like Scioli, he's kind of been laying low. He's still my pick tonight. He hasn't done much, but he is up to 5th. But sooner or later, you gotta go as see some drivers faking pit entry. Munsell pulls back out. Scioli late decision to pull back out of pit entry. Jacob Bell from 11th will be the first one to gamble. One of the playoff drivers.
And take Sam Fontaine and some others with him.
That's why you do it. When all these drivers in front of you don't pit, if you're the first one to pit, especially here, you're going to bring a lot of drivers. I think he brought majority of the drivers behind him.
I like this. I would say that if I'm Jacob Bell or the 18 of Fambro or whoever else is coming, I like this stop because this gives you just over 60 laps to the end. You've got time to go forward. I wouldn't pit again. I think this is it. But you've got now a 20-lap plus advantage on everybody ahead of you. So I like putting myself in this position. I don't know that I would have pit if I was Beckner, Kane, or Hall or anyone up at the very pointy end. But this would be the preferred time for me to pit if I was in Bell's or anyone else's position back here.
Yeah, this is a pretty decent place to do it. Could be their last stop, who knows? But the thing we saw with Anna Sogak, he really fell back on like 35 lap old tires. So it is a little tough as Wineland and Licata's hit under yellow coming off the pit road. But it's going to be tough because if you do stay out, you're going to be in a disadvantage. And if you get caught on the bottom or get moved, it's going to be trouble. So you got to really be careful.
Eric Wineland, the 21. We haven't talked about him a lot tonight. Only been as high as 13th. But points pay at the end of the race, not at lap 118 of 180.
Yes.
As we saw last night. Despite the yellows this evening, this race has actually been going along at a pretty good clip, I have to say. I do anticipate some more of that amber waving flag before the end of this, just because, again, you're looking up at the scoring monitor and you're realizing how little time is actually left in this race. 15 minutes, Connor, if we go green to the end.
Yeah, so you got to be ready to go. Can't really waste any time at this point. So it's going to be, you're going to have to be up on the wheel big time. It's hard enough to make passes. Now you get to the last third of this race, which is only 60 laps. It's going to fly by quick. So you're going to have to be more aggressive if you want to get to the front. Guys like Jake Matheson, he's recovered to 12th, but he's going to have to do a lot more if he wants to fight for the win. Weishart in 10th, Scioli even in 5th. He's going to have to do a lot to get through 4 trucks, especially 3 Miller trucks.
So Mason Kane, still your leader. Travis Beckner on the outside. Then John Hall, Justin Munsell. As you mentioned, 3 teammates at the front here controlling this field. Justin Munsell's the odd man out, so is James Scioli. They have incentive to break up the party at the front. Here we go, green flag with just over 60 to go.
Beckner way high, trying to generate the big run out of 2. He does, but Mason Kane's away at that point. Munsell gets to the outside of John Hall for 3rd, and Hall's going to be trying to fight it. Not much you can do on the bottom, and now here goes Scioli. He gets aggressive. He's on the back bumper trying to follow Munsell through to get this position. They could both break up that top 3 Miller Racing run at the front as Hall's starting to go backwards.
Scioli's got absolutely nothing to lose. No championship on the line. He's just going for wins now. That makes him an even bigger threat, I think. Look at the 5 Garrett Grant middle 3 wide. Wasn't he almost a lap down a little while ago? He's fighting back now. Doesn't want to do that again.
Sure was almost a lap down, but got to be careful back here as it's pretty stacked up behind, I think, Tom Bourne, who's now in 6th. Oh, car in the wall. That's Caps. Hit the wall. Jacob Bell and Balliet came together to avoid, but they kept it straight. That was incredibly close for 2 playoff truck drivers there.
Nice job for Adam Caps to keep it against the fence. Jacob Bell shoots out of line in the 77, drops to the bottom, wasn't able to complete the pass. There's just action everywhere right now.
Munsell's gone to the inside of Beckner for 2nd. Beckner's protecting high, forcing Munsell low. Munsell can't do anything, gets back in line, but this is where the action is. Kind of watching Matheson get back through the field, but kind of having to follow David Weishart through on that high side while Weishart passes teammate Brad Slaughter. Like you said, action everywhere. 2x2 back here. Battles for 2nd everywhere. Garrett Grant, Sam Fontaine side by side. Slaughter's kind of been hanging around the top 10, but hasn't really done anything. A little slide out of 2. That was peaching again, but he kept it straight.
What's the track they call the action track?
Richmond.
Yeah, this is it instead. Let's change
Yeah,
the,
but they got the Coliseum thing going now.
They have a bunch of personas of it, just like Darlington, but this place is fun. When you get trucks up in the high groove, ripping the outside lane, and you get drivers on the bottom fighting for their playoff chances, this can be a very, very fun racetrack. Mason Kane still has the lead. Travis Beckner Kane has not won a race yet. You determined that
I don't
earlier?
believe so. Not this season.
Man, what a night this would be for Kane.
2 top 5s, 4 top 10s. Solid season, but no wins quite yet. As Bourne is starting to fall back, Fontaine's going to force it 3 wide in the background with Slaughter on the top. You could see it off the back of the 28. Still trying to force 3 wide. Slaughter's going to maybe get the position. This is for 11th as these 2 have started to fall off. As Kane's still on the bottom. I think Beckner's still trying to block Munsell, but he also wants to go.
50 laps to go from Bristol here. And Kane... Richmond. You caught it.
Yeah, I did.
The action track, baby. Justin Hanna-Sogak to the bottom in the 88.
I believe he might have a little bit fresher tires, but... Oh, man, what was that?
Got a panic. Well,
I don't know. Munsell's in the wall. Kept it straight, though. I think it was him that was so high on the track. Now John Hall's back under him for 3rd. As Kane still rumbles around the bottom of the track. Beckner trying to work the top, and Scioli still working the top 2 in front of Curhan and Sogak. Fresher tires are working for him. I think if this goes green, is best case scenario, because I think he might still be down a set now, but he's making it work so far. He's back into the top 5.
Yeah, 23 lap fresher tires than the 4 drivers ahead of him. I like this position the 88's in. This is why I like that call, because it puts you at an advantage, and none of these leaders are going to want to pit so late in this race now if the caution comes out again. So I love the position Hanna-Sogak put himself in, and man, if he could win and advance to the next round, what an upset that would be.
That would be crazy. He had a win last season at Daytona. Did not work out in either series for him in the first round, but this would be a much more timely win if he could do it here. He was close to Darlington earlier this season. He's been coming on strong at the end of this season. 1 win could change it all for him as caution gets out. It's a crash out of 2. Big hit to the outside wall, and it looks like Danny Ware is one of them involved.
Now watch out here as he's driving counter direction. Leaders will be coming around the corner any moment. There they are.
Go down a lap because of that. Nothing you can do but wait.
This is frustrating for Ware.
Still waiting on someone.
All that just to call it. Let's go back and see what happened to Danny Ware. Brings out another yellow, and this time on the outside of Eric Wineland. I think it's just gonna
Bell hit him.
From Bell, and it just walked away from him from there.
They have called that on Danny Ware. Ooh, Peachin got a big hit, and did Jason Dalton as the leaders all come down to pit road this time. But they did call that on Danny Ware.
I'm surprised at that. I'm surprised at this.
Anna Sogak did come with him, so he had 4 sets coming into tonight. Let's see. I wonder if
they.
That his last set.
You think they missed the contact from the 77?
They're race control, so I would hope not. But
I feel like it.
I feel like it definitely.
Well, I feel like a self spin.
Into the wall and,
I feel like a self spin has to be on your own, not with the assist from behind before the corner. That's my only thought on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know
that I would classify that as a self spin any more than Epstein.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, really? Okay, that's not what I was expecting you to say.
Sorry, okay. It was right there. I had to take it.
Where was it? It was nowhere.
It's 5 seconds in an hour and a half long video. No one will hear it anyway. Oh boy!
I can't believe you said that. You're the last person on this.
I didn't expect
everyone
you
to
forget
say
about it by tomorrow.
I would say that, not you. Yeah, everyone will forget it. Beckner got the lead out of that, so that's going to change things. We had people stay out. One of them's Peachin, who was in the crash. But on that, we're talking about the. Yeah, I didn't think that was a self spin. I don't think that was, by definition, he had help.
Yeah.
So that's what I was looking at is Sam Fontaine, Bryce Senesac, and Sean Peachin got a piece of that last crash, but he is apparently staying out. And we did have, I think we had 2 tires because Justin Munsell and James Scioli got out ahead.
So 2 tire calls by Munsell. Here, let's pull up the order so everyone can see. So Munsell, Scioli, Therian, 2 tire calls. Everyone else, 4.
It's, with how loose the short runs are, usually 2 tires just kind of increases that a lot more. It's a risky call. I get it. Track position's important. But it's going to be very, very tough to keep that, I would think. As put Scioli 5th on the bottom, which I'm sure he probably didn't want. He'll put Beckner on his outside, so Scioli's going to struggle to keep track position on the bottom, but Munsell's probably in the best spot here, but he's got to get around Fontaine and Senesac.
So 40 laps to go, 30. Chat's cracking me up now. 39 laps to go at the restart. And Sam Fontaine going to lead us to the green. This is where things are going to get messy and the bloody knuckles will start flying.
For sure. You got to be careful. Wheel spin here, too.
Got to be carried about everybody's spinning. Green flag back in the air. 39 to go from Bristol. Fontaine gets a nice launch. James Scioli.
Oh, Scioli and Peachin crash. Big crash. Beckner. 2 of the Miller trucks were in that.
Didn't even make it through turn 2 that time. I think it looked like the 7 just went down there and took him out.
Munsell got a pretty big piece of it as well. Beckner got a huge chunk of damage from that. That might have been Netco, but that was a very early move at Bristol.
I don't know. 3 wide on a restart, James. I think you know better. Yeah, I think you got it.
I think that's happening anyways. But look at the playoff drivers in this. The 03 and the 28. And a Sogak got some as well.
Maybe
Beckner's... I don't know how Beckner could stay out. There's so much damage to that 28. Scioli got away with it, of course.
Maybe he's the one that did it.
Look at this damage. A lot of right front damage.
That is going to hurt.
I'm sure he isn't. They have called that Netco. And Beckner will pit for damage.
I think James got really lucky that was called Netco.
I think that was happening almost no matter what. But
if he's in the playoffs in the red, I would probably get that. I just don't know that.
I think I get his aggression and his desperation. He was on the bottom, and he was going to get freight trained if he didn't get out from behind Sean Peachin because he knew he was in the previous crash.
Maybe there's some self-preservation for sure there.
So he tried to make a move to get that track position away. So I don't really agree with the race control call, but I don't blame James for trying that because if he got caught, he was going to go backwards.
Well, I don't know about the race control call, but I know Sean Peachin doesn't like it.
He did not. He did not.
Again, this is kind of what happens. You put yourself in this situation out front. If you stay out on old tires, Connor, you have to be prepared to get yourself run over if you're not going immediately. That's just kind of the rule, the luck of the draw here. There's no one that's going to penalize you for throwing a block. There's no one that's going to penalize you for being slow. It's a self-penalizing situation to put yourself out there on old tires and try to make it work. But again, I didn't think we would see drivers pit this late, so I don't know. This is not turning out the way I thought it would, at least up at the front. And we're going to cycle everyone with fresher tires to the front anyway.
This is really going to shake things up because now Munsel's going to go a lap down. He's actually out of the truck. So once again, just Munsell going for a win. He just no luck, so he will be out of contention. Beckner will stay on the lead lap, but still a destroyed front end on that number 28. So that will shake up some playoff implications. If he can't get through the field, he'll restart near the back. Peachin's going to be out. Still got Fontaine Senesac on new tires. That's kind of really worked out for Mason Kane on 4 tires. Who's now going to restart 4th. So I think this plays completely into his favor here.
I think one driver that's disappointed by how this has turned out is Justin Anisogak. Had the race gone green to the end when he had pitted the first time, he would have been in a great spot. He was 4th and approaching 3rd, 2nd, and 1st with 20-lap fresher tires, and now he's just on the same level playing field as 5 drivers ahead of him. Doesn't no longer has the advantage. And is going to restart 7th. So his advantage was taken away and buried a couple more spots down the order with less laps to do anything with it.
But he's not lit up correctly, but look who's made it at the 6th through all this. Shane Therian. He's done nothing today, unfortunately, but he's in 6th place with 30 to go. This would be a huge result for him.
It certainly would be. All right. Just over 30 laps to go. See if we can make it through turn 2 this time. Sam Fontaine in the 71. And green flag. Nice launch there by Fontaine. That'll probably delay the inevitable a bit longer. Devin's going to go to the top. We're going to have a crash back here, almost certainly. 3 wide out of 2, banging doors.
That's rarely ever going to work, as here goes Scioli for the race lead. He's going to take it away on 2 tires. John Hall will follow him through on 4 fresh tires as Fontaine Senesac really stacking things up out of 2. Fontaine just slid up right in front of Mason Kane, and Asogak's going to be the next one to come through. They're 3 wide again with playoff drivers in the middle, and Asogak slides. He saved it.
Look
I don't
out.
know how he saved it, but he's still sliding. He's going to spin.
And right in the middle of the field.
Fambro gets involved.
Oh, the 8 got clobbered and all that. Brad Slaughter Jr.
Huge hit.
Oh, he was loose from the second. I mean, he never really had it gathered up.
Truck. Beckner got a piece again as well. He's surely upset.
Let's go back and have a look.
That's what happens. Old tires, kind of what happens. But this is new tires. That's what happens. One slide before entry, it's over. You have no grip. Wow, Jake Matson did a great job getting through that, but Slaughter not as lucky.
Some damage as well. Yeah, I think what triggers this whole thing, obviously the 3 wide is one thing, and the 88 got loose, but he didn't have enough time to woe it down, so he went off into one with way too much speed. He's collected there, but just never had a chance for the truck to stabilize.
Weishart just had, Weishart did a great job getting through there, but it's too much. You have one slide, the tires are heated up, the straightaways are not, they're not long enough here to gather the tires back up. You have to really baby it once you have a slide out of the corner like that. That's if you catch it. We've seen so many drivers today, they haven't been able to catch it, but if you catch it, you have to you almost have to go 50%, even less than that, into the corner, because if you try to go in there full strength, you're going to do exactly what the 8 did there and spin. Unfortunately, he's had a good run tonight, but now he's going to be a lap down and be in a tough situation. Meanwhile, through all that, it has worked out for James Scioli, who's now the leader.
Yeah, it has, as more trucks pitting on the bottom. As was pointed out, the 88 went down digging, went down fighting down there into the corner. And
race control said he hit an oil slick, which I don't disagree with.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. It certainly wasn't driving like it was on anything other than oil, but man, it is getting cold out there in the Northeast, so don't fear, winter is here. Bundle up this season with shop.areairacing.com and shop from the new selections of Champion hoodies, jackets, and sweatshirts. Easier to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. That's shop.areairacing.com. So clicking away more laps. And what laps led tonight? Mason Kane is in a position, well, if he can lead 2 more, he could tie Justin Munsell. Otherwise, Justin Munsell's going to grab that point for leading the most laps here with 66.
Yeah, Munsell will not be a factor for it, so that's going to help him a little bit, at least.
Yeah, Munsell won't be able to get any more laps led, but Kane's going to need to lead at least 2 more to tie.
I don't think we've had any other playoff drivers lead. Anna Sogak, Curhan, Kane, and John Hall, I believe, are the only 4 that I've known that have led laps. As Scioli's going to take the top. I think that's the first time the leader's taken the top side tonight. And he's, I assume, doing this to maybe fend off. Well, no, he's going to bring Mason Kane through, so it's kind of pick your poison, really.
Well, we're going to have just over, we got, how many laps we got left? Just over 20, well, maybe 25 at the
25.
restart here. It's a pretty good run to the end here. See how long we can make it and who's got the ability to sneak through the crashes at the tail end and come out with a win here. John Hall. Everyone here is basically on equal tires except for Sam Fontaine in 4th with those older Goodyears he's got. Green flag back in the air. 25 to go. Therian going to go to the bottom.
Worked last time, this did it, but he gets through this time. No hit to the 71. Matheson's going to follow Lakatos to the apron. He saved it, didn't hit the wall. Very close there, but Scioli is in a battle for the lead with John Hall and Mason Kane. Mason Kane is winless. He'd like to pick one up. He's going to drive to the outside of the 0-3 and have a shot at Scioli. Scioli's winless too. He's just as hungry, and he's not in the playoffs. He's looking for it. Matheson gets doored by Fontaine. There's still 3 wide back there with Curhan on the top as well. No way this ends without drama. Oh, there goes Matheson on the apron, up the hill. Great save there, but we're not done out of the woods yet. Balliet almost hit him. Garrett Grant gets checked up by the 52. He got Beckner trying to make up spots there as well. They've single filed out ahead of that somehow, while Scioli's now away with the lead. A little bit of a gap for him. I think the 52 was really patient in pulling that car back on track. Had he not had the points advantage that he did coming into the night, I don't think he would have been that generous. He slowed up. Slaughter and Beckner, I think Slaughter got loose out of 2, came into Beckner, but kept it straight again. Gosh. Not a good night for Beckner where he's at either. He's going to lose some spots in the points. Needs to recover. Oh, slide and spin. That's Lakatos. He locks the brakes up and carries on. Another rough night for him, but battle for the lead. Here it goes again. John Hall's looking to the bottom. Just how is he going to make this pass when the 7 of Scioli can just pinch him down? Really, what I would be hoping for is to get the nose ahead and hope for a yellow. That might be his best bet. Or maybe get the chrome horn out and try to move him. With how loose these trucks are you willing to move them? Scioli's going to get loose on his own. Now here comes Hall. Down to the inside. John Hall in the 0-3, the area dot shop. Truck to the inside. I'm not sure if he led that lap. It was awful close. 3/1000th of a second. That was the difference. That could have been for the win, depending on the lap. But he's got more grip on the bottom. This is what he did earlier to get the lead. It could work again, but he's just not quite clear yet. Fighting on the bottom here. It's been so hard to make the bottom work at Bristol the last couple of years. Some changes to iRacing's multi-groove model might make this a valid pass here for John Hall, but he's not out of the woods. 15 laps to go, and they're side by side for the lead. Scioli keeps barely leading, and he's pinching Hall more and more. The 0-3 sliding, big slide that time. Scioli gets the run out of the corner, which is huge for the 7. 2 tires just hanging on by a thread. 14 laps to go, and they're pulling away from Mason Kane battling like this. How nice do you play? When you're in the playoffs. You can't play too mean. You can't play. You got to play a little nice if you're John Hall. You don't want a rival on your hands. Like Scioli, he has nothing to lose, but he's not willing to go higher, and he's not willing to put a bumper to him quite yet. He's trying that bottom line best he can, but Scioli pinches, and he just can't drive through the center hard enough to make it stick. He is so close, though. He might have it this time if he drives off in there, but James is charging the entry enough to keep alongside. This is the most he's led. If he can get it right here, this is going to be the move. He's trying to throttle up. I think he's got it. And he does.
John Hall takes the lead away.
Oh, Skyly hit him, though. He tried to give him the bumper right back to him, but didn't really move him much.
Coming to 10 laps to go. John Hall's got the lead. Can he keep it now?
I think that's all he needed. Skyly had one shot to get the bumper, but couldn't use it, and I think this is all the 0-3 will need.
So Hall's got 3 wins on the season. This would be his 4th if he can hang on to it. David Weishart in the 33's got a launch of an assault from the 16 of Tom Bourne here for 7th.
Big points in the middle of the pack right now. Mitchell's in the wall. Slaughter's going to lose more positions out of this. He's back to about 15th or so. Not a good night for him, Beckner, and Jacob Bell, who are all running pretty well, but now they've dropped back. Now Balliette's in 9th, which is a great run for him. Jake Matheson's found his way back to 6th, and like we said, Shane Therian's in the top 5.
Yeah, up to 4th place in that 38. That's a great run here for Shane. You mentioned it earlier. It's kind of a nothing night for him, but as always, if you're not talked about at a short track, it's generally a good thing. You've been flying under the radar, and that can often put you in the top 5, as we're seeing here. Eric Wineland's even scrapping for a top 10 here.
Yeah, trying to get Fontaine. He's actually made no tires work better than I thought because he's still in the top 10, but Wineland's hounding him now. Balliette's looking low on Tom Bourne for the 8th position, while Bourne's been kind of beating the back bumper off the 33 of David Weishart for the 7th position.
This is going to get tight. Wide. That's tight. That's not going to work. Weishart throttling up, spinning the rear tires, trying to keep both these trucks behind him.
I don't know if that's going to work. How patient will Tom Bourne be with them? He can't get into a 0-7 either, as now Fontaine's getting passed by Weiland, but they're still door-to-door as they work 4 laps to go. Bourne lifted there. He could have easily forced the issue, caused a crash, while Curhan's going to maybe get 4th from Therian, and he does.
John Hall leads by 1.4 seconds. He has just lit the afterburners on that 0-3 Silverado, and the laps are clicking down quicker than I think anyone has any chance to respond.
I don't think so either, and the racing's getting intense as they're going to hit Curhan and Kane. This is for 3rd, but they're also trying to get around Skyelli, who's really fallen off with 2 to go, and you only got a mile to get it done.
Anybody going to get by Scioli here in the last mile of racing? Curhan goes up the hill.
Here goes Kane. He's going to get them both.
Sweet, sweet white flag for John Hall. He's in the clear now. He's got to go just a half mile more. Scioli drops to 3rd. Curhan goes to the bottom.
Curhan might get it here. It's going to be tough, but Skyly just fell off too much on those 2 tires.
John Hall, 4th win on the season at a critical time. He's going to advance to the next round of the playoffs with a win at Bristol. For 2nd, Kane, Curhan, Scioli, Therian, the rest of your top 5.
Matheson back to 6th. A lot of yellows, but honestly a great finish to that. Racing got intense for the win there.
That is going to be a celebrated victory. There's a celebration from Mason Kane. John Hall only led 18 laps tonight.
That was incredible stuff. We saw it earlier in the race. He played the short run and got the lead on the bottom. He was the only one who proved that he could do that. And he kind of used that to his advantage on Scioli's 2 tires to get it done there. It's an incredible charge. And Scioli tried to get him back. John Hall raced him clean. Scioli tried to give him the bumper back, but he was not phased.
Not
4th win of the season.
And you could see the emotion that he has had. Just had his hands on his head, just stoked about that one. There's the celebration. We're going to talk to him here in just a moment's time. But first, let's have a look at our race results here, Connor. This one mixed things up, especially towards the end. David Weishart rebounds for a top 10, but man, that 88 did not get the result that he deserved. And Sogak finishes down in 20th. That's going to be a big hit to his championship hopes.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard hill to climb out of, a hard rut to climb out of, I suppose. But how about Michael Curhan came in tonight just barely below the cut line, but still below it. And 3rd place is going to go a long way as far as putting him maybe above that cut line with a better chance to advance going into Kansas. Scioli, he tried on 2 tires, not in the playoffs going for wins. Just couldn't hold on to the right rear of John Hall long enough. And how about Jake Matheson recovering for 6th? Balliette, didn't talk about him a lot, but he got 7th out of that. Same thing for Weishart, recovered to 10th.
Yeah, that's a good result there for Weishart. Here's a look down the rest of the order. See Bryce, whoops, let's get that out of the way. Bryce Senesac, Sam Fontaine. Sam Fontaine actually finished pretty well, considering he was fighting an uphill battle on those tires. Jacob Bell, Travis Beckner, Brad Slaughter Jr., something to be desired there for sure, but Anna Sogak is probably one of the worst off as far as the playoffs are concerned.
Yeah, besides JT Poole obviously didn't show up, but yeah, Beckner's still probably up in points, but that's a big hit. It's not going to be a cake it's not going to be a walk in the park in Kansas for him for sure, as no playoff drivers, at least thankfully for all these guys, everyone in the playoffs who showed up tonight, no one finished this far down the order, although Sogak was darn close. These are all the drivers had a lot of issues tonight. Swan, a few self-spins, Caps, Farnborough, Munsell probably should have finished top 5. Another driver, he was fighting for the win. It just didn't work out after the restart crash with Peachin and Scioli. Ware, Stafford, Shane Wolf, and Tinch also had rough nights.
Yeah, so just based on that, the issues that Justin Sogak has, 16 below the cut line. He's going to join Brad Slaughter Jr., Jacob Bell, and JT Poole below the cut line heading into Kansas next week. So Sogak went from being in to being well out of it with that 20th place finish.
John Hall obviously locked in. Jake Matheson, 54 to the good. He's almost certainly locked in on points going into next week, but he'll be one of 2. He got 2 Miller teammates locked in. Beckner's up 24, and almost everyone below that cut line is likely going to need the win next week in order to advance, so that should be interesting.
Well, Michael Curran finishes 3rd place tonight, and this is a well-timed 3rd place, Michael, because you were below the cut line coming in, lit up in red on our ticker. But next week you're going to be above the cut line, at least by a little bit. So you've got less work to do next week at Kansas than you had to do tonight. But P3 at a critical time in your championship hunt.
Yeah, so you're saying I have a chance next week.
We're saying.
Yeah, I'm really happy that I was able to have a strong run tonight. Tires were definitely a huge factor, and even more so what lane you restarted on. The inside line definitely got bogged down, I should say. And so I think I was able to restart kind of on the high side there at the end, and it helped me pick off a couple spots. And then there at the end, I wasn't sure where to go to get around James and Mason, so that was a fun battle there at the end. So. But yeah, P3, great start to the playoffs for sure.
We got the short track out of the way. We head to the 1.5 mile at Kansas next week. How do you feel about your chances there? You're still kind of on the bubble, so there's still some work to do. How do you feel about your chance to move on to the next round?
Yeah, well, so I feel really good, actually, just because Bristol's usually a bit of a weaker track for me. So to come out P3 from here, I think is great for me. And heading to Kansas, I'm liking my chances. So we'll try to do a little bit better next week.
Michael Curran, 3rd place, the number 24. Michael, thanks so much. Appreciate your time and congratulations.
Thanks, Kyle. Just real fast, I'd like to thank Fazekas Motorsports, NAI, Leo Bram, Fame Construction, Flash Picks, and all my teammates at Fazekas Motorsports.
Thanks, Michael. We'll see you next week at Kansas. Good luck.
Thank you, Kyle.
And we're going to move on now next to Mason Kane, who's going to come home in 2nd place in the number 31 truck. Mason, victory continues to elude you, but not by much. 2nd place tonight, a bunch of laps led. It just didn't seem like it was meant to be tonight, but a great round for you in the playoffs, and that will put you in a pretty good spot heading into Kansas.
Yeah, man. One day we're going to get it, but it seemed like tonight was the night, but it kind of got slowed up with I think it was the second to last restart. But that's all I wanted right there, because it was kind of tight with points, and last season didn't have a great start to the playoffs, but I think tonight's saying a little bit something else. Kind of had bad luck at the end of the year, but hopefully we get the momentum going for sure.
Well, we look forward to Kansas next week. I just asked Curran how he felt. He feels pretty good. You're going to be in a decent spot heading into there, so you got teammates around you that are helping along the way here, because it's kind of a team effort in the playoffs. How do you feel about Kansas, especially with so many of your teammates up there doing well with you?
It seems like we've been pretty good all year. I don't know. I don't know what y'all think about that, but yeah, we've been really good, and those guys are awesome. Since Daytona, all of us has clicked very well. Yeah, it'll be fun. They helped a lot tonight, and John seemed like he got the better end of the stick tonight, which is good for him. Good for the team for sure.
Mason Kane, 2nd tonight, the number 31 Huckett Films Silverado. Mason, good luck to you next week. We'll see you in Kansas.
Appreciate it, man. I got some sponsors to call out. I always mess this up, and Dawson always gets on to me. But Calusa Pines, Celsius, areashop.com, and Alien Gear, Huckett Films. And thanks to Miller Racing, and thanks to y'all for broadcasting these things.
Appreciate it, Mason. We'll see you next week at Kansas. Good luck to you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. And last but certainly not least is going to be John Hall, his 4th victory on the season. Picks one up here tonight at Bristol. And John, you've got to be stoked, because this puts you through to the next round of the playoffs. You've got nothing to worry about next week at Kansas. You only led 18 laps, but you led the one that mattered. And now you can take Kansas and take that yellow brick road all the way to round 2 of the playoffs.
Oh my God, yeah, getting this one tonight, I had it circled because I haven't run well at Bristol kind of my whole time on iRacing, so I wanted to be good here, and to win it like that against James, I'm super happy, and that was so much fun to run him clean there at the end. And I knew that was kind of my only shot if it went green there with 4 tires versus his 2, because I knew he was going to hang on for about 10 and then kind of fall off from there, but happy it ended under green. So
Well, it certainly puts you in a good spot there at the end. You had the pace to win. We were just talking with Mason, and your entire team has really had a great season. So for now, that's a great thing. Everyone's running well, everything's going well. But when we get down to those last couple of rounds, when do you guys go from working together to racing each other, or have you already been doing that?
The whole season, it's kind of been take care of each other early and then kind of go for it at the end. Just make sure nobody ends up in the catch fence after the fact. So, yeah, I mean, tonight was a good demonstration of us working together, because it was kind of a game of cat and mouse the whole night, kind of saving tire as much as you could, and then we'd only go like 30 laps and then we'd lose all our track position from there. But yeah, it's definitely the wicker's getting turned up for all 4 of us. So.
Well, Wick's getting turned up, but you were hottest tonight, John. Congratulations. 4th victory in the season. Good luck to you next week in Kansas. Maybe you can tag another one on to the season total before round 2 of the playoffs. Good luck to you there.
Yeah, that'd be great. Just want to thank Area Shop for being on the truck, Clusive Pines, Huckett Films, Celsius, and everybody at Miller Racing.
All right, John, congrats. We'll see you next week at Kansas. Good luck.
Thank you. Sounds good.
All right, Connor. Wow, fun night of racing at Bristol. And we're not done with Bristol yet. We've got the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series on Thursday night. But I think all in all, we saw some great racing, but the rivalries can definitely kick off. I think there's going to be some upset drivers heading into Kansas, but we know one driver, John Hall, is good. He's got nothing to worry about next week, and he can breeze right on to the next round. But, man, the races start ticking down. We're going to eliminate 4 after next week.
Yeah, everyone's going to have a really tough time getting through. Those bottom 4 drivers are in a bind because all of them are below that cut line by 15 points or more, so it's going to be tough for them to make it down through. Anna Sogak, Slaughter, Bell, and JT Poole will all need wins as long as they all show up next week. Everyone else is not safe either. Curhan, Therian, Balliet, Kane, Beckner, they're all not too far above that cut line themselves. The only people who won't have to worry are John Hall and most likely Jake Matheson on points. So those 2 are going to be not having to worry about anything in Kansas, while everyone else is going to have to worry about their points position, where they finish, and trying to go for the win next week at Kansas Tuesday night. But we still got Thursday night to worry about because we got one more race here around this half-mile track.
Well, one more race at Bristol. The last great Coliseum has been the source of many great fights. We've still got more to do this week, but the Truck Series night is over. Congratulations to John Hall. We'll see you all next week in Kansas for the next round of the Area Truck Series. Good night. We'll see you next time.